What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So a big update in the Switch Joy-Con drifting issue with Nintendo, because it seems like we have a bit of a solution right now, and you're going to want to call Nintendo if you're having drifting issues. We're going to go over that here today, as it looks like Nintendo is going to be footing the bill, at least, for anyone who's having drifting issues, and even issuing refunds to people. So we'll be going over all of that, and it looks like Rockstar and Take Two are just throwing subtlety completely out the window, and they're going to push the envelope here with the quote-unquote, we'll just say, loot box situation, because they're just bringing an entire casino into the game. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to like button. It does help out, and get subscribed if you want to keep up with all gaming news that takes place. Do this every weekday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We're actually going to start today with Media Molecule and Dreams. Now, a while ago, when I was talking about this game, I said, hey, that seems like a great way for them, Sony and Media Molecule even, to kind of scope out the landscape for developers, people who are pretty much just in their living room creating in a game. It's essentially a toolbox that allows you to create games in Dreams, and it actually works really well. There have been some really cool creations. We've talked about Metal Gear Solid, for example. Well, they appear to be posting actual applications for work. They're doing contract positions. This is actually what they posted up here, and they go into detail about hiring developers and teams of people who would like to actually create content for Dreams, as in, hey, we would like you to show up and make stuff for us, and then we'll put it into Dreams. And I have a strong feeling, because of what they ask for, whether it's like a full portfolio and previous work and experience, this feels more like them actually doing hiring and scoping out potential new developers for Sony even. And it's an interesting idea to create a game that's a toolbox that then allows you to scope out, well, potential talent that can eventually climb the ranks and maybe work on something else with Sony or even Media Molecule. I'm also surprised that they have this much pull with Sony to start hiring contractors to make games, or make just games, in Dreams. It's an interesting thing, but hey, you can technically do it if you're good at it. Oh, I also want to point out something that's caught my eye a while ago when I brought this up, and some people were thinking it might be like a Memorial Day sale for that weekend, but I noticed it kept going on, and now I've seen actual confirmation from people posting on Twitter where they get the little tags ahead of time for the games going on the shelves. It appears that Walmart is still selling games about $10 cheaper than they should be. So a game like Fire Emblem, for example, that's coming out, it's coming out Friday, so 2 days from now, that's going to be $50 instead of $60. I've seen a lot of other games do the same thing. Here's a picture actually of those releases at a Walmart that I visited. And yeah, you can see it's just cheaper. I'm not sure why this is. I really don't. Walmart doesn't advertise this that I've seen, and people are just kind of talking about it word of mouth. I feel like maybe it's a response to Amazon or how the Gamer Club thing that Best Buy used to have, and then they've ended. Well, you don't need a club or to join. You just walk into Walmart and they just have it cheaper. It's a good way to offset tax, I guess, in your state. Or if you don't have it and you live in like Delaware or something, you just get $10 off. So other games that are usually $40 are about $8 off at around $32. So, hey, I hope Walmart keeps it up. But the fact that they haven't advertised it tells me they'll just end it at any time if it doesn't really help them drive sales. But hey, Fire Emblem for $50 this Friday. Oh, and you know how Sony pretty much forgot about the Vita? They stopped supporting it, stopped really caring too much about it, and even ended production. Well, there's still, it seems anyway, one group of people that they still care about, and those are the people running homebrew and hacking the thing, because they pushed an update, 3.71, and what does that do? Well, from what people are seeing, it seems to break the Trinity exploit on the Vita. So Sony went back to the system after pretending like it didn't exist, after so many years, discontinuing it, but they still had to push that update to mess with the homebrew community. The one community that's actually getting something out of that handheld, the one that's actually making it worth something, Sony, overall, but It's something, for some reason, Sony does this. They pushed a PSP update, I think, years after it left production, just to break an exploit. So maybe Sony's thinking that they have to do this, or maybe it's one that was already in the works and they just were like, go ahead and push it, that's fine. Either way, very spiteful there, Sony, to just break an exploit that people have actually been using on a system that you really don't make any money on when it comes to system sales, or barely anything on software sales at this point. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff, and we're going to start right away with the Switch Joy-Con drifting issue. Now, we've talked about this quite a bit because it's been a story that's been developing for quite some time now, but it's really picked up steam, obviously, after Kotaku wrote that entire article, pulled sources from all over the internet, and it seems to always top Reddit whenever people talk about the Joy-Con drifting issue, specifically in the Nintendo Switch Reddit or even Nintendo subreddit. But it looks like Nintendo is quietly, I'm going to say it again, quietly going to be taking care of this problem after they put out that very vanilla PR statement. It looks like they're going to be doing this internally and fixing it. Vice seems to have found documentation for the customer service part of Nintendo, where they will put this documentation out, the people who you talk to on the phone, if there's a problem with your system, and it instructs them how far they're able to go to fix the issue for you. And according to Vice, this is the new update for that documentation. Customers will no longer be requested to provide proof of purchase for Joy-Con repairs. Additionally, it is not necessary to confirm warranty status. If a customer requests a refund for a previously paid Joy-Con repair, confirm the prior repair, and then issue a refund. And this is big because you know what this reminds me of? The exact same thing that happened with the red ring with the Xbox 360. Now, of course, they had a 3-year warranty, and at the time, the 360 wasn't even 3 years old yet. So you just called them up and said, hey guys, I got the red ring. They sent you a box, you sent it out, and they fixed it for you free of charge. What's really interesting about this is they are going to be posting refunds as well. I actually kind of wonder if that class action lawsuit woke Nintendo up. I don't know, because all of a sudden, all of this stuff is happening, but this is great for the consumers. And here's how we can test this, guys. If you have Joy-Con controllers, multiple even, like if you have like 6, you'd better call them now. But if you have Joy-Con controllers that are drifting, call Nintendo today, their customer service line, and see what happens. If they say, yep, you're good, we're going to send this out, or go and send it in, we'll get this all taken care of. Comment down below if you get a chance to do that, and let me know if that is a thing, because this appears to be an internal memo that Vice has got a hold of and is seeing this happen in real time. So most likely you call Nintendo and you get your Joy-Con controllers fixed or replaced. Here's the other thing about this. Are they going to be replacing it with the exact same issue, the same problem we've been having, or have they actually fixed it and that's why they're going to go back and take care of this for other people because they know it's not going to keep breaking? That is the interesting thing, and that's why I want to see these new Joy-Con controllers when they come out, and I want to see the Switch Lite, and I want to see the Switch Revision. We're seeing all of it here. We're gonna check it all out. It's all coming apart. We're gonna find out here, so make sure you're subscribed so we can get to the bottom of this if they've actually fixed the design. But you can at least get yours replaced, apparently free of charge, and if you have paid, I think it was like $40 or $50, some people were saying, you will get a refund. Go do that now. Just go get a refund, right? Because they are going to be fixing them free of charge, and you should just get your money back for a product that, to be honest, shouldn't have this issue at all. Also, $50 for a repair, you could just go buy a brand new one, right? For that. Next up, let's talk about a game that has actually leaked online. No spoilers here, don't worry, but I want to make you aware of this, as I do this at times if there is a big game coming up and it does leak online. And that game is Fire Emblem. It's out Friday, and that is a heavily story-driven game. If this was like Mario Odyssey and it leaked online right now, and I mean, most of the time we know what's going to happen in the game. Now, some levels might be spoiled, but Fire Emblem is completely different, you know, massive story. We already know it's about 80 hours per house, so there's a lot to spoil there, and you're going to want to be careful. Now, this appears to have leaked online on 4chan, and then it started to spread from there. I can't confirm if the game has been dumped online, because if it is dumped online, and anyone who has a hacked Switch, which quite a few people now, I would say, then you run into an issue, because then it'll show up on YouTube, it'll show up everywhere. But I want to make you aware. if you see a thread, a forum thread that says, hey guys, Fire Emblem spoilers in here, don't go in laughing thinking it's not possible. It's possible, and it's happening now. Just a warning, be careful, go put the blinders on, because Friday's only a day and a half away, right, at this point, and you just gotta make it there. Next up, let's talk about Onna Demo. It's actually coming out at the end of August 22nd, I believe, and it's gonna fly under the radar for a lot of people. Some people aren't gonna be sure if they want to pick it up. They don't know. It is from Square, of course, Square Enix, and it looks interesting, but I don't know if there's enough there at this time to know if it's worth the pickup. Well, good news there, because there is actually a demo you can download right now. Like, you can go download this demo and play it on the Switch or the PlayStation 4. Here's the other interesting thing. The actual story progress that you have in that demo will carry over to the full game when you get it. I assume it's gonna read your save data and it's gonna say, hey, you've already been playing it. We're gonna jump you to where you were with that progress in the demo. That's great. We've seen this happen a few times, so this isn't like a brand new thing to have your data actually carry over. Either way, great move to do this. I played some of it. I'd say I played about 40 minutes of it when I had some time, and it is an action RPG. I really wanted to see some of the, I guess, the feeling of the gameplay, because of course you're not gonna get as invested, I think, into the story until you play the full game. But the game itself, action RPG, it does have a full skill tree. I was leveling up, and the characters themselves at least seemed interesting from the start. And I am going to check this out. I think it's going to be maybe even one of those RPGs that kind of flies under the radar and could even become rare someday, so it might be worth picking up physically. But an RPG like this from Square, from the studios that have done things, we've seen the person actually working on has done things like Chrono Trigger, I believe, in the past and stuff, so I'm interested, and I'll check it out. And the demo is free, so hey, you might as well check it out too. And in our last bit of news, get ready for this one. This is something else. We've talked about EA trying to pretend like, loot boxes aren't gambling. There's no game of chance there. These are surprise mechanics, guys. Well, Take Two and Rockstar, they just throw that out the window and they just drop a casino in their game. I'm not kidding. Now look, the casino is not technically new in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's new in the fact that it's open, but for a while it was actually even part of, like, I remember seeing these where people would make up like those myths for Grand Theft Auto, right? Think of like UFOs, Bigfoot, and others. Loch Ness Monster was another good one. But all these myths, one of them had to do with the casino at one point with Grand Theft Auto Online, where it said coming soon, and they never really did anything with it. But recently they had been teasing it, and now they've just opened it. And to be honest, outside of the casino, it seems like they've also added story missions and all kinds of stuff to it outside of just the gambling aspect. But yes, you go in and you can do blackjack, you can do slot machines, you can play poker, and the issue we're running into right now that really has people concerned is you technically can convert real money to it and then use that in gambling, actual gambling. In fact, it seems that Rockstar and Take Two actually know this, because in some countries, you cannot access the tables at all. It just blocks you. Like, completely. Poland, for example, if you walk up to the table, it just won't work. You can still buy the chips with money in-game and then use that to exchange for, like, prizes, skins, different pieces for your collection, clothes and stuff, but you can't walk over to the slot machine, put a chip in, and then start playing. Now, these chips, like I said, can be purchased with in-game money. However, they won't take shark cards straight up. So it seems like Rockstar Take Two, they've looked at this and they've tried to put limitations on it for now. That's the other big thing. For now, because this can change, it's a live service, they could up the amount. It appears to be about 50,000 in-game dollars per, I believe, at 1 hour in-game overall. This is an in-game day, which equates to about an hour of time in real time. But you can still technically do that. Now, $50,000 isn't a lot. I believe that's like $2 or something. It's not a ton. But we are technically taking real money in a video game, converting it again, and then putting in a slot machine that can then pay out a bunch of chips. Now, you cannot then take that and convert it back to real money, which is where the sticking point is, and why you're seeing things like the UK government say that things like FIFA's, their Ultimate Team stuff is not or it's not gambling straight up. So there seems to be some gray area here, and Take Two and Rockstar is taking advantage of it, but they're not being subtle, and we've seen situations before before where they really poke, they poke the bear a lot, and then eventually things blow up. And I mean, they put a casino in this thing. What can you do at this point? We've gotten past just loot boxes. Casinos now. What do you think EA is going to do? They're going to see this and say, they can put a casino in that game? and then like next year, FIFA 21, you just walk into a casino to open up player packs. And we'll finish up today with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This one is from Mr. CRZ saying, if the demo units at Target have Joy-Con drift issues, you know you have a problem. Nintendo needs to fix this ASAP. In all seriousness, I'm getting so sick and tired of dealing with the defects with these next-gen consoles. It's like no matter which system you get, there's always a risk with them. And that's, to be honest, that's been going back for a long time. A lot of systems, I'm trying to think of a system that really didn't have massive issues. Super Nintendo, the Nintendo kind of did, right? With the pins, and people thought if you blow on the cartridge, it would fix it, and it really wasn't. It was just the fact the pins were really finicky with the way that they changed it. Super Nintendo, I guess, didn't have a ton of issues. The Genesis, but then the Sega CD did, and then we get into the next generation with the PlayStation 1, where some people would have to turn the thing upside down. 64 was actually all right. It had some overheating issues, but it wasn't bad. The Saturn had all kinds of issues. I think really as we started getting more and more advanced these systems, more and more moving parts started to be included, then you started to run into a lot of issues. I mean, the 64's analog stick, while it was obviously leading the way at the time, it had its own issues with, well, essentially stick lean is what we called it, where the stick would start to lean left or right and get all wobbly. So this isn't like a new thing. And also, I would expect the Joy-Cons in something like a Target, the public ones that are getting beaten up, those are the first ones that should drift, because I've seen how the kids handle those ones. Those do not get treated well. But yeah, every system you buy is probably going to have the risk of having something wrong with it. That's just the way it is with how advanced some of these systems are getting. And I mean, if you look at what's in the Joy-Con, it is a pretty advanced piece of technology, especially over the other controllers. So we'll see what happens, I guess, if Nintendo can fix these things with hopefully a new design, or they just keep passing the same Joy-Cons back and forth until people stop complaining. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about, whether it's Nintendo apparently fixing the Joy-Con issue by replacing just straight up, doesn't matter about your warranty, if you paid for repair, get your money back. What do you think about that situation? Do you think they're onto something there to fix it up, or do you think they gotta fix that design, right? Also, what do you think about Rockstar and Take Two just dropping casino in? That's fine. You can change money for chips and gamble away, it's all good. What do you think about that? And really not as much about what it is now, but where do you think this is gonna go? Because if there's no questioning about a casino being dropped in, how far can they actually push this stuff? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.